So the reason I came back from Harvard to India was to set up a dream new kind of organization, which I hadn't articulated fully, but one which would combine the strengths of business, government, social work, etc., and bring them together. That was why I came back to India. I was ambassador of the UN for the environment. I went to 110 countries. I had a diplomatic passport. I traveled royally, and I met only presidents, kings, prime ministers. Now, 2 years became 3, 3 years became 4. And when I went to meet Dr. Tolba, who succeeded Maurice Strong, I'm going home again, like I did to Roger Revelle, he said, "You're crazy. You need only 2 more promotions and you'll be Secretary General. Why are you leaving the UN?" I said, "No, my parents didn't pay for my education to be a bureaucrat. I need to go home and do something." He said, "What do you want to do?" So I told him my idea about development alternatives. He said, "My God, that's the only thing I will let you go for. I'm going to give you an offer. I'll give you 1 year of full pay in UN, do a few things for me, do a few more of what you're doing. And you have total freedom to write up your project proposal, find funders, and I will help you start this project." At that time, people didn't deal with NGOs and so on. And I was the first NGO that was supported by UNEP. And they gave me $150,000 at that time, which is quite a lot, to start development alternatives. Long story short, DA was another experience which has taken the last 40 years. That was my sort of second career. These 40 years have been incredibly eventful. I've had global positions, several of them very, very visible and impact. But really the biggest things are the smiles on the faces of the women that I work with in Bundelkhand, whose lives have been transformed by my colleagues, by creating jobs, by helping them learn how to read and write, how to be better farmers, how to run an e-rickshaw, how to run a business, and so on. So a lot of the past 40 years are really what life has been about. It has been heavily massacred since the last 8 or 10 years by events, policies, etc., starting with a direct discouragement to civil society to operate through FCRA, through income tax rules, etc., through demonetization, which had a massive impact on some of our operations, through GST, which was maybe justifiable in terms of tax revenue, but was so badly designed that it killed, a large number of businesses, including mine, nearly killed us. And then COVID for 2 years on top of that. So as I was telling Deepali a few minutes ago, I'm now in a startup mode. I'm basically doing what 25-year-olds do for 3 or 4 companies, and I have to revive them. I can't let them go because they're my life's work. So I have to now keep going back to being young again, unfortunately.
What would be your advice to young people?
Choose the right parents. To get being there at the right place and the right time actually comes to everybody. Every place is right and every time is right, but you got to grab that opportunity. If you're going to do things that make a difference, you can either be very, very sophisticated intellectually, a Newton, a Sam Petroda, or whatever else, or you can do it by action on the ground. And that means, Sam Petroda, Bill Gates, etc. There are very few people who combine the two, but if you can combine the two, you can make a massive difference. And my lessons from Delhi Transport Corporation, from UNEP, from my work in development alternatives is that it's not enough just to have good ideas. It's important to put them into practice. And in my case, there was one additional factor which was driving me, and that was scale. It was not only enough to make a fundamental change and improvement in people's lives, but to do it at scale. A country that I can be proud of and that everyone else can be proud of, a country in which our heritage is important, but our legacy is even more important for future generations, a country that is healthy and provides opportunities for all citizens, particularly our young, a country in which no one is hungry and marginalized. All those are obvious things. But what I really would like to see is a country that has been able to shed not only its reputation, but its reality of deep corruption, of deep dishonesty, of deep lack of pride in one's responsibility and integrity as human beings. I'm very proud to be an Indian, but I'm not very proud to be a part of a society which has no feel for what is integrity and what is loyalty and trust. So I think we have a long way to go. We've got to revive that. The last time it needed a Mahatma. I mean, it needs a gigantic, charismatic personage to bring those about. And before that, there were very few of such people in the last 2,000 years. But we probably need that. But I'm not capable of being that. So I'm just looking for ways in which to support that happening. But I see India at 100 very pessimistically if things continue the way they are. And if we have so little as we do at present, faith in, not in our Indian heritage and culture in the way that people talk about today, but in the value system, in the deeper values that we're told we inherited and that we must leave behind for future generations. So I hope everybody will be well fed. I hope nobody will be thirsty, all of which are not givens. I hope everybody will be fulfilled and be able to lead happy lives, all that. But if we don't get rid of our lies and corruption that have now become endemic in everybody's life, I'm really very worried.